I can't wait to see the thumbnail for that one. All right, we're rolling. Welcome to my second video. This is Thomas. I don't have any subscribers yet. Please be the first. I thought about going onto one of my other YouTube accounts and being my own first subscriber, but nah, I won't do that until I get like maybe if I ever get to 1 million. When I'm one away from 1 million, then I'll subscribe. So anyway, if you watched the first video, you kind of know what's going on with my life. Right now, I'm in phase one of my whole plan, and that means getting rid of half of my stuff, like I said, and I'm serious about that. So I'm busy gathering together everything I'm going to sell or give away or throw away in that order. And I've got this entire living room with multiple piles. There's also other piles of stuff here off camera that's going. And oh my God, this entails going through everything you own and playing a mean game of what have you done for me lately. And I never realized how much crap I had. Just too much, really. And this is the spring cleaning I wish I had done years ago, So on the way to taking everything down to the car to cart away, I'm going to stop at the patio and have a patio sale either this weekend or next weekend. And what I don't sell, like I said, I'll donate to a charity resale shop. But in going through all my things, I've really noticed I have this penchant for kitchen countertop appliances. I am getting rid of 8 things: a fondue pot, an ice cream maker, a single hot plate, a vacuum sealer, a centrifugal juicer, an under the shelf mounted coffee maker, one of those things that saves you space. I've got this old school 70s era crock pot. It works, but the last time I used it, it didn't work quite well. And I don't know if it's because the pot is old or because of human error. But at any rate, I have access to another crock pot I'm going to use that I know is a lot better. And so that's got to go. And finally, I'm getting rid of my blender. And then one more thing, but it's not a kitchen gadget. It's one of those little home foot spas with the bubbles and the vibration and the things like that. And I got to get rid of that. I haven't used that in many, many years. It's all of this stuff most of this stuff is easily 20 years old. Some of it isn't quite that old. But anyway, I'm getting rid of the blender ever since I got one of these. These immersion blenders. I can get it to work there. Comes apart. Ever since I got one of these things, are like 20 bucks on Amazon, and no, they did not pay me for this endorsement. But these things are awesome. If you don't get this brand, I would get one brand because they're really good. I make homemade salad dressing, homemade mayonnaise, and just those powder energy drinks. I mix those up. These things are awesome. I cannot say enough. They're going to render blenders obsolete. Render blender obsolete. Right. Yeah. Okay. So now I have these coffee cups. It's called Cafe Ware by Crate and Barrel. I think they sold them. Now, many years ago when I was on my own, first on my own in my mid-20s, I realized one day that I didn't have any matching sheets, silverware, cups, rugs, towels, nothing like that. Like civilized. I lived in a frat house. I'm like, okay. So one by one, I started to get things, and I bought, probably back in the 90s, probably about 30 years ago, I bought a bunch of these coffee cups. Part of the reason why is because I have a small table over there that is obvious it came from an old diner at one point. So I kind of went with the whole diner theme. I have a little setup with the little sugar diner dispenser in the sweet and low and the sugar and all that. Anyway, you get it. But about 5-6 years ago, I realized that I don't like these. I don't like these when I got another cup that was like this. Now, I'm holding these about the same way. I can't keep them online, keep them in the frame. But anyway, this one here, the Cafe Ware, has a really small footprint. And I've set this on a coaster a couple times, but I set it on the edge and it tipped all the way over and fell over and dumped coffee everywhere. Also, about the minimum amount of coffee I ever drink is just below the rim of this right here. So it can spill much easier. Now, if I put the same minimum amount of coffee I drink in here in this one, this is much bigger, it's not going to spill as easy. Also, look, you can only get like, at the most, I can get 2 fingers in here to hold it. In here, I can get all 4. I like this better. And I guess I never knew that until I got a large coffee mug. And I just kind of wonder how in the world I never noticed that all these years with these. I guess I kind of did, and then I got this one, and then it's like, okay, why am I even bothering? So finally, after 30 years, I'm getting rid of these. I bought 4 originally, and then some years later, I bought some extras. I'm kind of going out of focus here. Sorry about that. Let me get back in focus. I bought some extras, so if I chipped any of these, I would have extras because I figured one day Crate and Barrel is going to stop selling these, and if they do, I want to have extras. And so I bought them, and I've never. Now I did buy them as extras to keep in the cabinet, and that's exactly where they've been. What right back there, you can see right above my finger there, and right here. Those are 2 of these mugs that I've never ever opened. So I'm sure they'll go away. I'm sure somebody will take them somewhere. Also, I have no idea. So I got some of these small cactus stem sort of parfait glasses, if you will, dessert glasses. In the picture on the box in which these came, it had them full of margarita. Okay, fine, you can put margarita in there. I've never used these. I've never used these. I think. Well, I take it back. I think I used them like once for homemade ice cream, but the homemade ice cream was for Thanksgiving, and this isn't really kind of a Thanksgiving kind of thing, at least not in Texas. I guess you could say it's a cactus, so it goes in Texas anytime, but whether or not it's suitable for Thanksgiving, I've just never used these. And then I have 8 of these, and I also got a set of 4 of these that are like 1/3, like a full third larger, maybe like 30% larger than these. I've never used them. I decided not to take them out because they're still in the original box. I opened it, but there's peanuts and stuff. I don't feel like taking out of there and making a mess. So just take my word for it. They're down there. Never used them once, not once. They've been in my cabinet now for well over 20 years. And so these little things, I call them I call them a muglet because that's what we called it in the restaurant where I got it. I worked there back in the early 90s, the Outback Steakhouse. Every now and then they would change their barware or their smallwares, and they would just give stuff to people. And so one day he's like, "Hey, you want some of this?" So I took 5 of them. I figured I'd have 4 plus 1 extra if something broke. Actually, I'm sorry, I think I have 6 of these. And I figured, oh, they'd be great for, making mixed drinks and things like that. But I've never really been the type of guy who keeps mixed drinks in the house. And I never use these for company. I never use these to entertain. I've just never used them for anything. And so between the cactus stemware and this muglet, I've never used this stuff. But yet, when I leave here on November 30th, it would be the 5th time I have moved something I don't need. So it's finally going away. I'm getting rid of this shite. I don't need it. Don't use it. So then when I was going back to finish my undergrad in 2002, back then, 22 years ago, we were still big. Businesses were still into printing big time. People printed stuff out. You get an email, you'd print out your email. You wouldn't want to read it on the screen because people just wanted paper, right? All kinds of stuff was still being printed, of course, in the last 22 years. That's gone away. If you've been in an office anytime in that time span, paper has mostly gone away. There are some people I talk to that have long retired, and I told them, look, you don't deal with paper much anymore. Think about all the expenses. I mean, you could just start naming stuff right away. All the expenses, the labor, the hardware, everything to just keep paper. Well, back in 2002, we kind of still weren't finished printing when I was going back to school. And I said, oh my God, I'm going to be printing all the time, just everything. And so I went out and bought 2 boxes of paper. I don't remember how much it cost, but I remember I got a pretty good deal out of it. Well, I mean, 2 boxes. Each box had 8 reams in it. In 22 years, I am not even 1/3 of the way through the 2nd ream of paper. In all of those years I spent in college, in just personal use, I just don't use a lot of paper. I don't print a lot of paper. Paper has gone away. So I have now 14 reams of this paper I need to get rid of. Now, on Amazon, if you buy a 10 count, they go for about $4.50 a piece. So I'm going to put them on. I'm going to put these reams of paper on sale on Facebook Marketplace for $4 a piece. And if you come, that would be $48. If you buy all of them, it's $40. Just buy them and just get rid of them. Oh, that's based off of 12. I'll probably keep a couple reams. Maybe I'll just keep 1 ream. So do the math. If I'll give you a discount. Just come get them. Take them away. I don't want them anymore. I don't need all that paper. And when I was going through my storage closet, when I moved in this place, I just threw it out. I threw these out in my storage closet. Just forgot about it. Now, when I say forgot about it, I put stuff down in front of it because I knew I wouldn't be accessing the paper much. And over the years, I'd go out there and I'd get stuff, and I guess, I would see it out of the corner of my eye, but I wasn't paying attention to it, and so I kind of didn't see it. I didn't even realize I had two boxes until I realized I was out there the other day, and it wasn't one box, it was one box stacked on top of another one that hasn't even yet been opened. I mean, this stuff is over 20 years old. And so, what was I thinking back then? I just thought that I would be printing a lot. So, oh boy, is this all too much information? Probably it is, but this is my life. This is my life. This is what I go through. This is all the shite that I go through. Anyway, I still have an old DVD player. Haven't used that in probably, oh my God, 2010 was the last time. Probably 14 years it's been since I used that. Maybe 2011, but that's going. And I also still have, now don't laugh until you hear my explanation, I have an old VCR. Now the VCR that I have wasn't just a regular VHS, it was a Super VHS. So it was a lot more expensive. Super VHS, it took special SVHS tapes, but it was a much nicer recording. Now nothing approaching DVDs, but it was nicer than standard VHS. So whenever I'd record something back in the day, I would watch that. Now I haven't used the VCR since 2001. I think that's pushing it. It's been back. It was very expensive when I got it. It was like $350. So I would record all the shows, back in the 90s. I got it like in, I want to say 95, 96. Seinfeld was still going. It was Thursday night television. And yeah, but after a while, of course, I stopped it. I got the, what do you call that? I got the DirecTV many years ago, and I was recording stuff on that. And of course, it just went by the wayside. But I keep it around also because I have a bunch of home movies and stuff that I shot myself that I need to digitize, and I never have. And I need a VCR to do that, and they don't manufacture VCRs anymore. Those are completely gone. So it could be so that I might get around to doing this many years in the future. Who knows, 5, 10 years in the future, and trying to get a super VHS recording will play on a regular VHS, but who knows what kind of VHS player I'm going to be able to get 5 or 10 years from now. It might be some total piece of junk where the head is worn out and I can't get a decent digitize. I can't digitize it any good. I was thinking about just finding a service and sending them off and doing that. So you know what? If I find a good service and I send them off and doing that, the VCR is going. But, anyway, I'll just donate it to a museum after I'm done about it. So anyway, let me see, we're at about 13 minutes. So I've been thinking about the van life. I've been watching, this is just a quick footnote, I'm getting ready to end it. So I've been thinking about van life and watching a bunch of videos about the pros and cons. And ostensibly, I already knew these things. Now, I can't say that I could have sat down and made a descriptive list, but let's just say I knew it was going to be less than ideal, and that depends a lot on how much money you have to spend, right? Hold on just a second. I don't know how much money I have to spend. I'm going to have a fairly decent amount, but yeah, it would be so nice if I could get something at least with, a bathroom, like one of those bath shower combinations. That would be cool. That would solve a lot of problems. Just having the toilet in there would solve a lot of problems. Yeah. So people talk about that. But anyway, I knew it wouldn't all be rosy. It's not ideal. It's not long term. And also, one of the cons they talk about is always having to move and find a new place to park. Now, I'm not leaving the North Dallas County, Southern Collin County area. If you watch my prior video, my first video, you know that I have an elderly parent of which to take care of. My mother will be an octogenarian on her next birthday, and I have to stick around to take care of her. So that gives me an advantage in that I know this town like the back of my hand, and I already have some great ideas for places that I'm going to be able to go, and no one's going to mess with me. I don't want to give them away because I don't want to start a trend. I'm just such a trendsetter. But anyway, I just know this town like the back of my hand. I know every nook and cranny. I've lived here for over 40 years. I've been driving here for 40 years. So I know just about everywhere. I have lots of friends with driveways. I've reached out to some of them. I'm just like, all I need is just one night a week. So even if I have to move every night, I know where I'm going to be going. And I've pretty much I'm going to be on like a 2-week rotation. I've already figured it out because I just have so many resources still. I'm not going to be on the road in strange places in faraway places. Maybe that'll happen one day, but it's not going to happen right now. So it's going to be a little bit easier than people I see. And you know, once again, I'm going to say I'm just looking forward to not having to pay rent. So I have lots of other ideas for other videos. I'm at 15 minutes. Oh, I said I wouldn't go over 10, but here I am. But that it's gonna mean that I have to get a better camera and probably some video editing software. I got to look at YouTube's video editing capabilities. I got to check that out. But I'm thinking, you know, I want to get something nice. If I want to learn, I want to learn right. And so yeah, that'll do it. That's my video. That's where I'm at right now. All the things I've been going through, and I will see you next time. Please consider subscribing and liking. If you subscribe, it helps me, and if you like, it also helps me and you to keep track of which videos you've already watched. Nothing is more frustrating than get halfway through a video and wasting all that time realizing you've already seen it. Okay, y'all, over and out, and I will be back with the third one in, I don't know, some acceptable amount of time. See you later.